Okay, we're at a town called Beaucayrent. This is the town, or part of what would be the old town. We're going to take a look at some of the cave houses. I think just round the back of here, we think. Down there's some of the cave houses. We'll take a walk down and have a look. Wow. Hello. Hi.
¿Van a visitarla?
La finestra del Calvario, también en el barranco de la Foz, pero a la cara contraria, es una ventana solitaria a gran altura. Comunica visualmente con el muro de Beaucayrent y las paredes desnudas.
Wow. So these weren't for living in, they were storage. So they were grain stores, or stores really. You don't usually get one window directly above the other because they would have had to have climb up, but making it difficult for animals and other people to take the feed or the fodder. Wow.
Drained on the rocks, the spring emerged from the cavities.
This is what was a natural spring. So would have, well, I presume it still is, as it's a bit wet and damp down there. It's actually called St Vincent's Spring. It's a natural spring with continual flowing water believed to have medicinal properties. According to legend, St Vincent took refuge in this cave when his wet cape drained on the rocks. This spring emerged in one of the cavities, and that would be there. So that's the spring. Thank you. This part here that's been carved out is the original entrance to the town, and on market day traders had to pay a duty. So when they were passing into the town to sell their wares, this was the way in, and this is where they would have to pay. This is the view from just sat inside, so people who were coming into the town to sell their wares would have had to have crossed that bridge, and then they climb this hill and pay the man who's waiting here.
The Moorish Caves Interpretation Centre in Beaucayrent provides information and explanations about the numerous cave window structures found at the head of the Clarion River, the area where the majority of surprising man-made structures have been found. Between the towns of Ontinyent, Beaucayrent and Alfafara, a total of 13 groups have been documented, with the Moorish caves being the most numerous. The Coloman Caves, where you are at the moment, constitutes another group of cave windows situated within the confines of the old town of Beaucayrent. In 2011, they were restored and converted into an interpretation centre. Thanks to their accessibility, these caves have been used from the time of their construction during the Muslim reign, almost up to the present day. Originally devised as agricultural storage deposits, they were later used as stables, as an air raid shelter during the Civil War, and as a dovecot for bird breeding. These activities have caused substantial modifications to the original structure, where each window originally gave entry into an independent interior chamber. It was only later that these self-contained units were connected up, providing the caves with their current aspect. In 2009, a large area of the exterior rock face collapsed, causing serious alterations to the cave's appearance. However, the subsequent restoration work also permitted the recuperation of a small natural spring called Saint Vicent's Spring. According to the latest research by the Maova, the Archaeological Museum of Ontinyent in the Albaida Valley, these caves were initially used as collective granaries. Strategically located with difficult access, they were, on occasion, also used as refuges. Their origins can be found in the Tamazight or Berber farming communities that arrived in these lands during the Islamic period. Similar examples of the cave windows appear in the pre-Saharan area of the Maghreb, notably on the south face of the High Atlas and in the Anti-Atlas. Historians, mainly French, have identified these caves as primitive forms of what would later become collective granary buildings, called Agadir in Morocco or Gorfas in Tunisia, and which were in use up until the turn of the 20th century. It is believed that the Tamazight farming communities, which settled in the area during the Islamic period, brought with them this unusual building practice. The cave windows were abandoned in this area during the 12th and 13th centuries, coinciding with the Christian conquest. The Moorish caves form part of the most numerous group of cave windows found in the Valencian community and probably in the entire Iberian Peninsula. This group is comprised of the cave windows located at the head of the Clarion River, which is an affluent of the Albaida River, itself an affluent of the Júcar River. The cave windows are dispersed amongst the steep-sided ravines and gullies that form the river's catchment area. The hard limestone terrain has enabled these collective granaries to remain intact despite the passage of time. The majority have carved out anchoring rings so that climbing ropes and ladders can be fastened, allowing access to each cave. Door frames and other kinds of enclosures have also been found in many of the caves. In a few cases, stone benches and silo pits appear carved out of the rock floor, such as in the Bancal Redor. It was common practice to partition the caves into separate spaces by putting up dividing walls. Pottery fragments and remains from other materials dating back to the late Islamic period have been unearthed. In the Poblad in Ontinyent, there are two groups of 3 and 4 cave windows, respectively, both of which are located on either side of the main road. In neighbouring Alfafara, there are further 2 groups. The Bancal Redor, or the window caves, are situated above a large natural cave used in the past as a livestock pen. There are a total of 13 openings, the majority of which are rectangular in shape and mostly with completed interior chambers. The other group is called the Chaplain's Windows and is located in the Avern Gully, which crosses the CV81 main road. Comprising 6 rectangular windows, 2 have only been started, whilst the other 4 remain unfinished. Below, there is a natural rock overhang containing cave paintings. In Bocaident, the caves known as the Foscali or Dalsaina group contain 12 rectangular windows. The majority with small interior chambers and with 3 started but not finished. The Calvari window, also in the Foscali but on the opposite wall, is a single window built at high level. It communicates visually with the Dalsaina group and the Moorish caves, indicating that its function was probably as a lookout. Only 300 metres from the old town in the Foss Gully lie the group of Moorish caves. Declared a National Heritage Site in 1931, they are made up of a total of 50 windows, which give on to as many interior chambers, as well as 9 other windows that have only been started. The windows are distributed on different levels in an irregular layout. The fact that all of the chambers have got rope fastening rings and doors suggests that the vast majority were originally constructed to be used as self-contained units. However, these days all the chambers are interconnected through gaps in the walls, as well as by vertical shafts connecting the different levels. Whilst almost every chamber has a rectangular floor plan of between 2.5 metres and 3 or 4 metres, only a few contain floor-level storage deposits or open compartments. The lowest of the windows has been used to provide today's entrance to the caves. In an attempt to facilitate entry to the caves, a hole was dynamited out of the rock in 1908, disfiguring it badly. A metallic stairway was later installed, allowing for much easier access to the caves. Close to the Old Town are the Colomer Caves and the Dingomar or Chorador Caves. The Colomer Caves comprise a group of 14 windows, one of which is only slanted, distributed on 2 levels, and which currently house the Interpretation Centre. The Dingomar Caves are another group containing 12 windows, which were once connected to the houses situated above them. In the Baixaveia ravine, there is a single isolated window containing 2 anchoring rings and a series of notches carved into the wall in order to facilitate access. The Frontera Gully holds 2 more groups of caves. The northern group has just 1 window next to a natural crevice, through which entry is gained into a cave, also natural in origin, although later altered. The southern group is made up of 2 rectangular windows and another natural opening. The first window is only started, whilst the other one gives access to a rectangular chamber that is communicated to the cave. Although it is important to distinguish between those caves excavated out of the rock for religious purposes or as dwellings or for burial purposes, and those in Bocairent, which were created in order to store grain and other provisions. There are many examples of these in the area around Guadix-Baza, Almeria, and the upper reaches of the Ebro River. Bocairent has an intimate relationship with its rock surroundings. Apart from the cave windows, there are numerous examples of spaces chiseled out of the limestone. During different historical periods, the inhabitants of these lands have utilized the inherent potential of this malleable material in response to their changing needs. Next to the Ebon Gully, there are a number of anthropomorphic tombs dating back to the late Roman period. Another example is the San Blai Cave, an old ice deposit located close to the Moorish caves. The entrance corridor and part of the dome were carved out of the rock. Some of the town's bars and many of the houses still contain caves, which were originally used as stables, cellars, mills, or as water storage deposits. 16th century cave monastery also contains different rooms, including the chapel, that were excavated out of the rock. And don't forget the bull room, unique for being entirely carved out of the rock, as well as being the oldest in the Valencian community. Even the old roads that led to Bocairent have steps and stairways chiseled out of the rock, showing once again the close relationship between Bocairent and the rock it sits upon.
It's a glorious little town to walk through. Yeah, real pretty little town. Down. Okay, we've just come into a pub for a beer, and like a lot of places, part of the pub is carved into the rock. How cool is that?
Bueno, aquí está un poco más flexible. Vale, ya estamos. Mira, antes que nada me presento. Ahora soy Andreu, voy a ser vuestro guía. Y bueno, siempre empiezo explicando que... Ha dicho que outside y inside. Okay, they start to boil outside.
Yes,
inside.
yeah.
And that windows know they have the cave and start to boil inside. Inside. Okay? So because of it is the unique windows in all the cave that the water can enter when it's rains. Okay? You can see then that they are a part black and that's because the water go down from the... Okay?
Perfect. Thank you.
Ahí la veréis y os daréis cuenta de que es distinta. Esa es más pequeña y es redonda. Es porque esta no es de los bereberes, es de los cristianos. ¿Vale? Cuando comunicaron las cuevas, también construyeron aquella ventana. Y es curiosa porque es la única que está hecha al revés. Es decir, todas se construyen de fuera hacia adentro y esa no. Esa ya tenía la cueva hecha, entonces se construyó de dentro a afuera. There are not two different rooms, it's the same. Okay, that part and that part is the same windows. And this is because the people who buy the caves want to divide the space. Okay, this part was more small. Okay.
Yes.
So the people can enter and exit and close. So here we have a storage, and the storage is that part that seems like a bed. Or this is they made a notebook hole and have a wall from the different hole. Okay, so they have the storage, and this part is like a living room, not exactly like a living room because they don't like here. Ahí no estaba en un principio, ¿vale? Ahí estaba cerrado y este agujero tendría un tamaño más o menos de esa ventana, para que pase justo una persona y así sea más fácil de tapar, ¿vale? El segundo almacén iría ahí en esa cama, sofá, como lo queráis llamar. Estaría casi de pie. Vale, ahora vamos a subir por aquí. Okay, we go to go up. And I wait here, and if people need help. pues caiga encima de mí.
Que no caiga nadie.
No os preocupéis que no caigáis. Es muy fácil. Y la que hay arriba ya es la última, ¿vale? Esta que estaremos de pie, que se ven unos almacenes súper claros, es la mejor en definitiva. ¿Está todo claro? Si nos vamos entonces, pues venga, por aquí.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. What a strange place. This is really, really weird. This climb the step. Comes all the way up to here. Walking down in a slightly different cave this time.
Careful.
I think it's called Cara de Sant Blai. Strange building. Not sure what the meaning of that is on the floor. But very strange. So it's part man-made and part out the rock.